y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I am Brooke Michelle and I usually do videos about hair, health, and fitness, but today we're going to dabble into something new.
You see her walking down the boulevard. She got the posture of a superstar. She's a Mona Lisa. Everyone's lining up to see her. There must be.
So if you've been following me for a while, you know I did a home and garden series a while back. So I want to get more into that because I am actively looking for a property to buy. So in this video, we're going to talk about the horrid, wretched, ghetto, some people might just say competitive housing market that's taking place right now. It's taking place in various states. I am in the city of Colorado Springs, so that's where I am feeling it the most. Not only is the housing market competitive, period, but I am looking to do short-term rentals and I'm looking to do multi-family homes. But we're on this video to talk about short-term rentals specifically in Colorado Springs, but these guidelines can help navigate you through your short-term rental search if you're looking for a property and not arbitrage. It can apply to any location that you're in because it's just good general information to look into before making a major purchase slash debt, one of the major ones you will in your life. All right, so a little bit about me. I've been in Colorado Springs for 2 years now. I was really gung-ho on rental arbitrage. Rental arbitrage was going to be my thing. If you don't know about rental arbitrage, let me know down below and I can do another video on that. But basically, it's where you are not an owner of a property, but you're still short-term renting that property out and then making the profits, but still paying the landlord their rent that they ask for each month. Here in Colorado Springs, I've been having a huge struggle in acquiring a place to do rental arbitrage. So I decided that, you know what, Colorado Springs is one of the top cities by a few resources to go ahead and buy property in. I've always dibbled and dabbled in the thought of doing something with real estate, just didn't really land on anything. I wanted to be a realtor. I was thinking about flipping homes. I was thinking about, being that in-between person who looks for a buyer and a seller and then you just run with the profits. Still might do that someday, but I finally landed on real estate investing. So in short, what my plan is to look for a multifamily unit. So that's a duplex, triplex, quadplex. That's really how far I'm trying to go with it. And live in one unit of it and then rent out the others. So even if it's a duplex, live in one side and then rent out the others. I only want to do this for a certain amount of time. Because I am military, as some of you know, I won't be in Colorado Springs forever, but I still am tired of renting. I've been renting for the last 2 years now, and I figured this is the time to just go ahead and take the plunge and buy a home. But I'm buying the home with passive income in mind. I was talking to a realtor, the realtor of mine. He mentioned single family homes with walkout basements. So at first I didn't like the idea, but then I thought that's like low-key perfect because single family homes are a lot more available and basements are a lot more prevalent here because I tell you, inventory is so slim here. And basements can have, I've seen a basement have 2 kitchens. I've seen a basement have 3 bedrooms. Basements can really be decked out. I've seen a basement have a huge family entertainment room with 1 bedroom. I'm like, this basement is good enough. And then it has a bedroom. It didn't even need a bedroom. I would have just stayed in this area. So a quick story of how I got to know what I know now and why I want to share it with you if you are on your home search, just started your home search or about to start. Hopefully you know this information prior to purchasing. So we are on a home search. I finally got pre-approved because that's step 1, especially in a competitive market. Nobody's going to look at your offer, or I don't even think you can make an offer without being pre-approved, but basically no one's going to pay attention to you if you're not pre-approved. So finally got that through, and I found a home, and it was the most perfect home. It was a single family home, and the basement was decked out. I think this was the basement that had 2 kitchens in it. It had a huge family room. It was like finished, renovated, perfect. And so I was like, you know what? I'm ready to put in an offer on this bad boy. So I asked my realtor to go ahead and put in an offer. And then I remember people saying, you know, Colorado Springs is a little strict when it comes to short-term rentals, yada, yada. And so I decided to go on coloradosprings.gov that night and found out that that house was in the wrong zone. Couldn't get it. And don't worry, I'll explain that more later. Second story, I found a home and it was perfect. I was like, you know what? Let me make sure this house is in the right zone. Let me make sure it's where I want it to be, close to downtown, Old Colorado Springs. It checked both of those boxes, but it did not check a third one. Here in Colorado Springs, you cannot have an owner unoccupied unit that is within 500 feet of another short-term rental in certain zoning areas. That little story aside, so let me tell you what I wish I knew prior to this home search and what you need to know if you're looking for a home in Colorado Springs, specifically to short-term rent it, or if you're looking for a home anywhere and you just want to know some of the things that you need to start with when it comes to city guidelines. So if you go on coloradosprings.gov, you'll type in short-term rental in the little search box. And then short-term rental will pop up, and then just click on the first one. That'll give you everything you need to know about a short-term rental. I'll put the link below. I guess I can start out with the permit. In Colorado Springs, you need a short-term rental permit before you can put your home up as a short-term rental. So the permit, they'll give you all the guidelines. You need an application, an affidavit, $500,000 in housing insurance. You can fill out the application online. They give you the link to where to fill it out. It's $119, and you have to do this yearly. So once you've done that permit, or actually not once you've done that permit, I just want to give you some information about the permit. But before you even get to that step, so you make sure your application doesn't get denied and you don't purchase a home that's not even eligible. These are the 3 things that they let you know in like the short-term rental blurb on the website. Once you go there, it's under FAQs, and it's like the first one. And it says, who is permitted and where am I permitted to have a short-term rental? So 3 things that you need to pay attention to. And first, you got to decide, is it going to be owner occupied or owner unoccupied? So for me, because I do not plan on occupying this property for a long term, I'm looking at things that are eligible for owner unoccupied because I have to renew every year. I don't want to start out with owner occupy and get those benefits and then move and have to transition my property into a long-term rental, or which is basically a regular month-by-month rental. So what you need to do is figure out if you want to be owner occupied or owner unoccupied. So for owner occupied, there are certain zones that you can have a short-term rental in, and it lists all those zones there on the website. For owner unoccupied, there are certain zones that you can have a short-term rental in, and it lists those zones on the website. Now, the zones were a little tricky. I'll try to like paste a screen record in here of how to find out the zones. But now, before I even talk to my realtor about going to view a property, first I check, is it in an eligible zone? And then the third step is I email the short-term rental planning of Colorado Springs to see if my short-term rental is within 500 feet of another. That's the kicker. I found a few that were perfect and they were within 500 feet of another. And I'm like, Colorado Springs, are you kidding me? But I mean, I'm not trying to get hemmed up. I'm a first-time home buyer. I don't got those, like, I don't got time to try to be skating the system. So I make sure I check all those boxes. I just want to go into another point that you might want to be looking at if you're a first-time home buyer, if you're getting into real estate investing, if you're, if you're new to this like I am. You got to do your research, but I'm here to be a part of that research, and it's zoning. So the one place that did get approved and checked all the boxes, I had to go an additional step. So the house that I found was a single family home, no basement, but it had a detached garage. This detached garage, they converted into like a wood shop. It had a sink in it, so it already had running water. So it would be ideal to convert this really huge garage into a what they call an in-law suite, a short-term rental, basically an apartment. I was so excited. I was so ready to renovate. I would short-term rent the house and I would live in the garage. Only to find out a little later, in the great city of Colorado Springs, there are restrictions on what that would be called an accessory dwelling unit, or ADU, which is a detached garage for dwelling or living in. The garage or the ADU had to be in the rear of the home. This detached garage was in the front of the home because this is what they call like a drive-through garage. Also, with it needing to be in the rear of the home, it has to be covered by the primary dwelling by at least 50 feet on each side. And it also has to be like a certain square footage. It also only is permitted in certain zones. So you have to figure all that stuff out before you even can be set and confident on a property. And it's so, it makes it so much more difficult when the market is so competitive and the inventory is so low, because you need to check all these boxes before you put in an offer, or you're just wasting everyone's time. But then on the other side, it's like, if I don't put in an offer now, I won't be in the running at all. So you can determine what you want to do first, but I am trying to check all the boxes before I even go view the home. And if you want to configure or reconfigure a property in any way, or land in any way, if you plan on purchasing land and property and you want to change it in any way, you best check the zoning before you purchase, so that you know that it matches up with your plans, because that can shut down everything. So yeah, that's pretty much been my journey so far. I hope y'all found this video helpful. I really am praying that I can find a place by the end of the summer. So be on the lookout for an update. I am trying to get whatever the VA loan will approve, whether it needs renovations or whether it's updated, whether it's a single family or multi-family. It's a mystery to me, so it'll be a surprise to y'all. Hopefully the next time y'all are seeing a video like this is when I'm actually moving into the home and giving y'all a before tour, or if it's fully updated, just giving you a tour of the home. Happy home searching. I wish you all the best in your home search. And just leave any tips and comments below that you have. Let me know down below if you'd like me to go into rental arbitrage, or if you have questions on anything else I said in this video. I'll post all the websites down below for coloradosprings.gov when it comes to zoning and short-term rentals and the application. Some cities have no restrictions or regulations, but that's just something you want to know before you make your purchase. All right, y'all. I'll catch you in the next one. All right, so after logging into coloradosprings.gov, you're going to type in short-term rentals and click on the first one there. And here you can see where you can get a permit and where those FAQs are that I spoke about. But we're going to go to the left-hand screen and click on zoning. After zoning, go ahead and go to property zoning and click on Springs View. After that loads for a while, this is where you're going to find out what zone the home that you're looking at is. And I just want to type in an address that I found on Zillow and let you know how difficult it is to see the zone without going through the steps that I go through to get rid of all these other overlays. It was very confusing for a while and I didn't know what was going on. So I figured out to go to show layer list. And you can do this before you type in the address, and I just keep it on my screen as this in my already pre-filled deselected overlay. So I deselect every other overlay besides planning zoning. And that way you just get rid of all that stuff that you don't want to see if you're only looking for a zone. Click on planning zoning and go down to base zone fill, and then boom, nice clean cut, color coded, labeled zone for that specific address that you're looking for. This home is in the R2 zone. And then for reference, you just go back to the short-term rentals, which is under property use. Then after you go to short-term rentals, click on that first one where am I permitted to have a short-term rental, and then boom, you can look at that screen, figure out what zone the home is, what zone you're looking for, owner occupied, unoccupied, and then go from there. Hope this helped. All right, bye guys.